your host, Tara.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are going to be sharing about one of our favorite topics. I feel like everything is our favorite topic, but this one is very, very important when it comes to building a business and not just building a business, but just like everything in general, right? So, we are not taught the masculine and feminine energy and why both are required and needed, not just for business, but in life in general, right? And so I'm somebody who is very independent because, as you guys know, my mom passed away when I was 16. My dad was never part of my life. So I felt like everything was always all on me. And then after I, had my children and I was a single mom, I was always in my masculine because I'm always trying to figure out like what do I need to do? I need to be 10 steps ahead. I'm carrying all these balls. None of them can drop. If one of them drops, I'm going to drop them all. All of those things. So I was constantly always in my masculine energy. And it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur that I realized that feminine energy is not just about being a woman and having that feminine energy. However, I did sometimes find it hard with dating and stuff because I felt like I was constantly always in my masculine energy and I had this tougher exterior shell that I was not allowing myself to release, let go, trust, and then allow my feminine energy to come in, whether it be in relationships or working. Now, don't get me wrong. I do have my feminine energy turned on when it comes to my children. Yes, I feel like I have to have masculine when I'm, needing to reprimand them and things like that. But that's the one place I feel like I tapped into my feminine energy the most because we constantly tell each other, I love you, and we're hugging and kissing and affectionate. So that was one place I felt like my feminine energy was always turned on. But when it came to the do, I didn't allow myself the chance to receive, or even in a relationship, allow myself to receive that love and allow me to, be a woman and be soft and be that because I was constantly tapped in. And when you are in business, you definitely need a healthy mixture of the doing, but then the receiving and knowing that what you've done is enough and not just saying, like, oh, I did my to do list, that's enough, but knowing that you put in the amount of work that's required and then you sit back and allow yourself to receive. So, what are your thoughts on that, Jess?
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think not enough people are having this conversation in business. Like, I didn't even know about masculine and feminine energetics until last year. And I've been in business for years and years and years, right? So you'll
Yeah.
hear things about, like, do and take inspired action and trust, but no one has ever really been able, or like, it wasn't conceptualized for me until last year. So it was a whole other, like, a whole new world of what are you talking about
Yeah.
energetics and masculine and feminine, and my idea of what each were totally really not in alignment. But if we want to succeed in business, the way that we're going to scale to that 6 and 7 figure income is by being able to master these things.
Yeah.
And what I learned is that a lot of people in business, very successful CEOs, they've mastered this, whether they voice and can conceptualize that this is what they're doing. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
you'll read books, Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich back in like the 30s or 40s or whatever it was. He talks a lot about this without saying masculine and feminine
Right.
energetics. Like, any kind of money book or successful CEO you hear about their journey, it is this, whether they talk about it or not. And I think it's just
Right.
a lot of female coaches and female entrepreneurs who kind of bring this, like, openness to spirituality and universal laws in nature. We're the ones that are a lot louder about it. But I think that we need people to be louder about it, because if you can master these concepts, like, your entire life will change.
$100.
Every part of your life. And so for me, like, the very basic understanding is that masculine energy, and when you're in your masculine, it's like the doing energy. So you're doing something actively, whether that is creating or your CEO activities. You're doing something physically. And then the feminine side of it is really embodying, like, the love, the trust, the receiving, the knowing, the belief. And that is the hardest part, I think, for entrepreneurs, is trusting that you've done enough And so you can release like the results. And kind of like a little bit deeper what I mean, say coaches, for example. You know, a lot of people who get into the coaching industry, they're doers. So
Yeah.
they think the more I do, the more I will create, which means the more income I will have. But what happens is they create these courses and then they think that they need to create the income with it. So then they're overly creating content. They're messaging everyone. They're running ads. They're, you know, everywhere on social media. They think that they need to make the sale to create the income that they want. And that is not trusting that what you had already created was enough. So it's
Yep.
like we have to find this balance of I create and it's enough. And I trust that the clients are coming in. I trust that the income's coming in. I trust that the transformations are coming in. But again, if you're so stuck in I created, but I'm actually going to keep doing, you're repelling the results that should come in from the thing that you're creating. And again, this is why it's so hard for people to lean and trust, is because we think that we have to do to receive, and it's actually backwards.
Right. And it's because, one of the universal, like, society, I don't want to call them laws, but like, something that society has taught us is in order to make a lot of money or be successful is that you have to work really, really hard, right? And so people that have these big corporate jobs or in these very important roles, they work 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. They're never with their families. And that's what, they make the money, they bring home the bacon, but they are not able to, receive, right? And so that's why a lot of people who will come to us will, they're scared not of the success, but they're scared that they have to work so much in order to make that kind of money. They hear like, oh, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 months. That's going to mean that I'm going to have to be away from my family and I'm going to have to be working. And that's obviously not true, because in the very beginning in your business, if you're doing the right things and you're putting in the masculine in the beginning, then it's the less I work, the more money I make, which is so unheard of for the regular everyday person who has been taught, work super hard and then you can make the money that you desire. And that's not required for the rest of the time that you are in business, right? And if you want to take it a little step back, think about it this way, right? So if you think of, like, I don't know, we'll just say Target, for example, okay? The CEO of Target, do you think that the CEO of Target, who's making, billions of dollars or millions of dollars, whatever he makes, do you think that the CEO is working harder than, let's say, a shift manager? I don't think so. Because the shift manager is probably working 50 hours a week, right? People that are calling out, they have to be the ones to step in and, or the general manager, whatever you want to call it. They're most likely working harder than the CEO, but the CEO is making more money. So that trumps that mindset right there, that in order to make a lot of money that you have to work super hard. I'm sure in the very beginning, getting Target off the ground and doing all of that, he did put in a lot of work and effort, but then after that was done, the less he works, the more money he makes. Okay, so you can look at it as a twofold thing. But it's very important to believe that everything that you're doing is adding up, right? So let's take it, a little bit further. So you start, let's say, like an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever, right? And you don't have a ton of followers, and so you're not getting like a ton of views on your videos and all of that stuff, right? But what you don't realize is that all of those videos matter, because when someone's scrolling back and they are, indulging and watching all of your stuff, it's each video that they're watching is building the belief more and more and more and more for them to know and realize that you are the coach, the mentor, the business partner, whatever, that they want to invest their money in and go into business with you. It's a combination of all of it, not just the one video that got 10,000 views or 10,000 likes. It's a compilation of all of them all together. So you really have to trust and believe that what I'm doing is enough, but also understand that in the beginning, you are going to put in the most amount of work. and energy in your mind and thinking, and you're trying new things to see what actually works and what doesn't. But then once you find your flow, you are in flow, and now you have to release and trust and believe, and now it becomes more of an energetic thing of who you be versus the what I need to do.
And that one hits right there of like who you be is so important. And this is why, I never look at failures or things that didn't work in the way that I thought as actual failures. Like they built me into who I am. Like I wouldn't be who I am without those experiences,
Yeah.
without, those challenges and those setbacks and, those wins and everything else that's so important. And one of the things that it makes me think of, and I like why this is so hard for people and why this is so challenging for people, is because we think, or we struggle with like how much is enough and when can I trust.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people, when they look at manifestation or the gift, or is that what it's called, the gift, that's what it's called, right? Magic, no, magic,
Secret.
the Secret, yeah, like The Secret, and then there's like the Magic Book by
Oh yeah, I
Brene
think it is
Brown.
the gift or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so this is like a lot of people get it twisted when they don't know how manifestation and the laws of the energy or the laws of the universe really work, because they're like, well, if I just think happy thoughts, like, and I want a smoking body, I could just sit on the couch and eat potato chips, and as long as I'm thinking happy thoughts, like the body will come, right? And so people think that with business too. They're like, as long as I'm thinking happy thoughts and I put out one piece of content this week, I'm gonna make $10,000. And so people really struggle with finding like where's the balance. And so this is something that you build your discernment and your knowing over time. Like
Right.
over time, it's through practice that you learn how much you have to do until it's complete. So Tara and I, we create coaching courses, we run masterminds and all those kinds of things. And it's like when we look at the course, the skeleton of the thing we want to create, it's like, okay, does it feel complete? Did we do enough? Is everything in there that we want? And it's like we can feel in our body like, yes, it is complete. It feels good. Let's go. And then the other part of this is like, then we release and we go, but we trust people in their power to buy. We trust people to know this is the thing for me. We trust that people are going to say, that is who I need to work with. That is the information that I need. That's the coaching that I want. That's the business that I want. Like we trust in their power to make the decision that they need to make. It's not like we're banging down the door being like, you need this, here's why, like you need to buy. We're not running ads. We're not, putting up flyers. Yeah. We're not doing. It's like, it's complete. Now let's put it out into the universe and trust that the ones who are supposed to be here are going to be here. And of course you're always going to refine, but it's like, we trust. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Like we trust and know that this is our best work. This is going to be amazing. And because of who we be and the energy that we put out and just getting behind it and standing behind it, people can feel that energy of like, wow, they are serious about this. They put the time and effort into this. And if they stand behind it, like the way that they are and the way that they're talking about it, like then it's something that I need as well, and that's the important thing. And you have to back yourself, right? The who you be is backing yourself and knowing that you want to work with me. You want this product. You want this service. You want this business. Like you want these things. Here's why. This is what it's done for me. This is what it's done for others. And I'm going to be here till the end of time talking about this and just every day going through it and doing what you need to do. But standing in that energy of, I did what I needed to do and now I'm going to receive. But you need to also know that you can constantly be in a state of receiving every single day, and that it's not like I have to do all of this work in order to receive. But again, that becomes you get to that point. In the beginning, you are going to do a lot of work in order to receive. So when Jess says like, I want my dream body and I'm going to sit here and eat chips and think happy thoughts, it's not about the happy thoughts or being positive. It's the thoughts about the way you see yourself, the way you see your body, the story around your belief about that you get to, have a body that you feel good about and you feel sexy and all of that. And you don't have to be eating grilled chicken, brown rice, and broccoli every single day, right? Like your belief around that is, I'm hot, I'm beautiful, and I can eat in moderation and I'm still going to look good and be hot and have a toned body and all of that. You have to remember that your subconscious mind, again, is always going to give you your physical reality. So, right now, I want you to take a second and I want you to think about every area of your life: your bank account, your relationships, your business, the way you see money, the way you see people online. Like, if you are looking at other women who are having success online and you're rolling your eyes, or you're like, oh, good for you, or blah blah blah, if in any way that's going on, and it's going on in a frequent way, you are repelling your success, because you are saying that another woman that's having success, that's annoying and you don't like that. So why would God, universe, or any type of energetic give that back to you when you are being annoyed at the sight of any woman that is having success? You are telling your subconscious mind that you don't like that, believe it or not. So you're repelling yourself from that. What you see in others, you should be able to see in yourself. So when you see other women that are being successful, that should make you excited, because that's being in your path for you to see that if it's happening for her, it can happen for you as well. So you should be taking that as signs, as, oh my God, God and universe is sending me another sign of this is going to happen for me, right? Again, the energetics of receiving and who you be as a person. We don't realize that the little things that we do every day can be repelling us from having the life that we want. And everything that you have right now is not, it is based off of the choices, but it's based off of the choices because of the way you view things and the way you feel about things. So you took that action, and that action has now given you the life that you are living today, and in every single area. Okay. So if you haven't learned about the masculine and the feminine energy, and you haven't started to embody that, you need to start embodying. And I know it can be hard, because like I said, as a single mom and as somebody who has not had parents, and I've had to do every single thing by myself, I did have to learn how to do and then receive, do and then receive. And I've kind of worked my business like that, where I will work like super, super hard, like head down, super straight for 90 days, right? Like grind it out. And then over the next 90 days, it's not that I don't work, I still work, but I'm not putting in that like grind. I'm now just working and like kind of like maintaining, and I'm receiving a lot more than I was before. And then I'll go and grind for another 90 days. And then again, I'm working, but I'm not grinding it out, and I'm still receiving exponentially more than I was before, right? So I've learned how to manage the masculine and the feminine, but also knowing that when I show up every day, that I'm in my feminine energy of receiving, and not feeling like, what do I have to do today to make a sale? What do I have to do today to make money? I just know that it's happening, and it's coming just because of who I be. It's coming no matter what. So this is something that isn't just like learned right away. You have to practice this and be okay with this and trust, because money can be a very triggering thing. And if you've grown up without money, and then you've made money and you're scared and your income has gone up and down, you need to really learn how to be able to tap into that so it becomes a steady thing.
Yeah, and I love that. And the one thing I want to hone in that she said, which I can't claim this quote, my mentor actually says this quote, but it's something that I have written everywhere as just my reminder, even, is if it dwells around me, it dwells within me. Like, the universe would not show you what is possible if it wasn't possible for you. Like, it wouldn't even be a thing. And so,
Right.
God, the universe, whatever you believe in, didn't bring you this far to only bring you this far. You
Right.
have it inside of you. You just have to unlock it. You have to untap it and let it all flow. But the feminine energetics, like, you have to think about this in every area of your life. So like Tara was saying earlier, your relationships, with money, with your family, it doesn't matter. Like, how do you receive? Because how you receive one thing is how you receive everything. So
100%.
if you can't receive a compliment, you can't receive $10,000 cash either. If you can't receive love from your husband, you're also not going to receive $10,000 cash. Like, you're receiving, the way I like to look at it is like a channel, like flowing into me. Like, the universe has this receiving channel that goes in through the top of my head into my body, and everything that I'm receiving goes through that thing. So if Tara were to say to me like, "Oh my God, Jess, I love your outfit today," and I was like, "Oh God, I hate it. I look so fat today," the universe doesn't know what the difference between receiving money and receiving a compliment. Like if you can't receive a compliment, the universe is like, oh, you don't want to receive things, so I'm actually not going to send other things your way because you
Yeah.
obviously don't like it. If someone were to buy me a cup of coffee and I'm like, oh my God, I don't need that, like, here, actually take the money, it's okay, like I'm okay, I don't need it. The universe is like, oh, you don't like to receive good things. You don't like to receive gifts. You don't like to receive abundance in the form that I want to send it. So I'm going to stop receiving or sending you things that you could receive. So
Mm-hmm.
this was such a massive breakthrough for me in my business, because when I could start receiving love from my husband, meaning like he could compliment me and I didn't backhand it, or I could receive little gifts from people and not feel yucky about it. Like Tara could send me flowers, and instead of being like, oh my God, she spent money on me, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for spending money, like I love it, the flowers are beautiful, it like lights me up. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
could start receiving any amount of abundance in that way, all of a sudden the floodgates to my income skyrocketed, because I could receive money then with gratitude and a different energy. So again, it's like once I realized that, I could do what I needed to do in my business, and then I could lean back and trust in people and their power to do what they needed to do, which was to buy from me, whether it be my high ticket business or my coaching business. Like I trust in people to make the decision that they need based on the like mission that I have out in the world. So again, this only works if you have true intention at heart. Like this only works if well, not true. Actually, this is why bad people can make money, because they learned energetics too.
Yeah.
But the way that I like to teach it, the way that Tara likes to teach it, is that as long as you're leading with your heart and you have heart-centered, coaching and mentorship and businesses, like you can lean into this and trust that the people are going to come. The money is going to come just simply through the work that you put out into the universe.
Yeah, like you trust every single day that the people that need you are going to show up. Like you trust that with everything that you have inside of me. And here's another quick little example too, is like I never gamble. Gambling's like not my thing. I just don't like it. But my son had a tournament not last weekend, the weekend before, and it was at the casino. And so
Okay.
one of like his best friends on the team, me and his mom are like good friends. She was like, "Do you gamble?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not really like a gambler or whatever." So she was like, "Why? It's fun and whatever." So then she was like, "Come on, let's go." And so I'm like, "All right." So we went to like the slot machines and she gave me like $5. And I'm like, "No." She was like, "Just take it." Because I didn't have any cash on me. So she's like, "Just take it." So I'm like, "Okay." So when I put it in, for whatever reason, that machine ate the whole $5. So I was like, "Oh my God." Instead of me having 5 times to do it, it ate the whole thing. So now I'm like, oh my God. So I went and I got money out and I put the 20 in, and we're going together. So we're moving around, we're going to different machines. And then I ended up winning $200. And I was like, oh my God. So I ended up giving her 20, even though she only gave me 5. I ended up giving her 20. And she was like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, just take the $20, because if it wasn't for her, like having me do that, I wouldn't have ever played. She was the one that got me into it. So I was like, this is your lesson on receiving. The fact that like you put out 5 and now you're getting back the $20. And she was like
She
trying to give it.
multiplied her. She
Yeah,
multiplied what she put out there.
exactly. By giving to me, she ended up, making 3 times the amount more. Right. And I just felt like I wanted to do that for her, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even have gambled and I wouldn't have, won the $200 or whatever. So again, we have to be okay with that, because we need to look back and realize that no matter what, money has always shown up for us every single time. We might not right now have $1 million in our bank account, but every single time we've needed money, whether somebody's given us money, whether our parents have helped us out, money has showed up for you every single time. But if you are sitting there and you're praying to God and you're like, I really need help and this and that, and somebody is like, let me buy you lunch or here, and you're like, no, seriously, like I'm gonna get mad, do not give it to me, I don't need it, and you push that away, you have closed the channel. You're asking for God to intercept his magic, right? And he's doing it in a way of sending somebody to give you money, and now you're saying, no, I don't want it. Like, no, like that was his angel that he was sending you to give you the money. And not only that, now you're blocking them from their blessing, from being able to bless you. You've stopped them from being able to receive on the other end too, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. So if you've learned anything from this segment today, we have to understand that it's important to play in the masculine and it's important to play in the feminine. We have got to do both. We can't just be in a constant state of receiving, 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 receiving. I mean, you can, but then eventually think about the women who, are just constantly in their feminine energy, never in their masculine, and then things happen to them, God forbid, where like something happened to their husband or their husband's up walking away, and now they're stuck with like, all I've ever known was like being a homemaker and taking care of kids and cooking, cleaning. Like I haven't worked in over 10 years. Like, what am I going to do now? It is so important to consistently be in the masculine and the feminine at all times.
No, I mean, I think that wraps it up beautifully. Because there's so much we could go into. Like, you guys, there's courses and courses and courses of hours of like training this and teaching this exact thing. But this is really where I see people who are trying to scale to their first 5 figures and their first 6 figures really, really struggle because they're like, they just want to do, but they don't trust that it's coming. And your job is to trust that it is coming, that people are going to buy, that you can trust people in their power, and that what you do is enough to make that happen. But if you just get stuck in do, you're gonna burn out. That is why people don't last in this industry as well, is because they get exhausted. They're like, I have to always do like this every day. Like, heck to the no. But it's like, we need to lean back and trust that what we have done is enough and it'll continue to pay. Like, this is the beautiful thing. The last thing I'll say is this is the beautiful thing about content creation when we build businesses online, is you can put out a piece of content, and that content, you could put it out and then go live your life, and that piece of content will sell for you for weeks and weeks and weeks. So you don't have to be tied to like, I need to put out content like, every 30 minutes so that people are seeing it. It's like, if you put out good content, a couple pieces a day, even like 1 piece a day, 2 pieces a day, it'll sell for you over and over and over and over and over again, especially with short form video. So your job is to do until it feels complete, and then trust that it's coming. But if you can't fake your trust,
no,
you can't fake the trust. The universe knows. So your job is to figure out how to increase your trust, lean back and trust, increase your faith with the universe, God, Mother Nature, whatever it be for you, so that you can lean into that faith.
And practice pedestaling yourself of believing that the work that I do is absolutely incredible and everybody needs it. Not in like a cocky sense, but trusting and pedestaling yourself like, yes. Because when you can do that, you are going to attract more and more and more, because people can feel that. They can feel when you put something out and you're unsure, and they can feel something when you put it out and you're like, wow, like she knows she is that girl and it's the one. So yes. Amen. If you love this, please go ahead and leave a 5-star review. Share this out. As you guys know, we are giving away a cash giveaway to subscribers. We've already passed our first 100 downloads. So once we get to our 1,000, we're going to be giving away 3 giveaways. We're so excited. Share this out on your Instagram stories. Tag the Wealthy Woman Playbook. And that's how we're going to be choosing our winners. If there's anything that you would like for us, any topics that you would like for us to share, go ahead, leave them in the comments. And we will see you guys again next Tuesday from Tuesday Tips from the Top. And we'll see you guys on Thursday for a juicy podcast.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you.